Hi, I'm Dennis Phillips, and welcome to Everyday Reloading and Shooting. All right, so I've loaded 45 rounds. I have 20 loaded with IMR3031 powder at 21 grains each, including 5 barrel warmers. N540 at 23.5 grains. The reason I chose that number is because on my best loads comparison that I did in a recent video, the 21 grains of IMR was the best powder in that group, and it had I believe a 0.78 inch spread on 10 shots, but it was 21 grains and it was a 75 grain bullet. But this is a 75 grain, but this is the ELD match that I'll be shooting. And also I have this powder that I just got that I'm excited about trying. It's VihtaVuori N540, and I'm using 23.5 grains. And the reason I'm using that charge weight is because at this charge weight, that was 2,575 feet per second, supposedly on the IMR 3031, according to the values published in the Hornady manual. So I wanted a round that would be flying at 2,575 feet with the N540 as well. And it's between the charge weights for 25 and 2,600, so I believe this should be close by book values at least. So anyway, I'm going to compare these two powders. I know this IMR 3031 was a good one. This is a 75 grain ELD match. I'm excited about this because I was not able to shoot this in my Ruger American because it used the same magazines as an AR, and you're limited to 2.26 inches. And these have to be seated at 2.39. And so the Tikka magazine will accommodate that longer length. So really excited to see how these perform. All right, as mentioned, we're comparing two different powders. 21 grains of IMR 3031 performed the best in a recent test that I did comparing several powders with the 75 TMJ from Spear. And it shot a very tight group, I believe 0.78 inches. Here's a photograph of that group here. I just got a hold of some VihtaVuori N540 powder. It's supposed to be real good. I'm getting recommendations from a lot of the viewers on that particular powder. So I've loaded it at 23.5 grains, and it's supposed to produce the same velocity as the IMR 3031. These should both be flying at 2,575 feet per second. So we're going to do two 20-shot groups with each powder using the 75 grain Hornady ELD match bullet. I'm excited about this because, as mentioned, I have a rifle that will allow me to seat this bullet to the longer length of 2.39 inches. And so I'm excited to see how these perform. So we'll shoot 5 fouling shots at the IMR charge weight, except that will be a 73 grain ELD match. The others will be within 2 grains of the weight, but just slightly longer. So what I'm going to do, since I'm shooting two 20-shot groups of each, I'll shoot 10 shots with the IMR 3031, and then I'll shoot 10 shots with the N540. Then I'll go back and shoot 10 more with the IMR 3031 and shoot the last 10 with the N540. That way I'm not getting all of the N540 shooting with a dirty barrel. And also I just did a test with this rifle, the phase 2 of the powder shootout, and I've already shot 35 rounds through it before starting this. So we'll see if the dirty barrel helps or hurts it. But as always, you're welcome to enjoy the music while I fast forward through my shooting, or you can skip forward to the results that follow. Shooting at 100 yards. All right, we have to measure these, but I'm pretty sure the IMR3031 performed better than the VihtaVuori. So let's bring them in and take a look. All right, so here's what I'm talking about right here. You see how all of these are clustered together on the IMR3031? This was really shooting pretty high for both of these, and we've got a few scattered out here to the side, making the extreme spread pretty wide on that. But look at this. This was my very first shot with a VihtaVuori. Hope I'm saying that right. And that was my very first shot, and then it started shooting down here, and of course I had a couple of flyers out here. So I don't know, this group here is fairly consistent, and that could have a pretty decent mean radius, although I see three right here that I know these outliers here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 outliers. Same like here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are going to throw that group off. So anyway, we will measure these with the Hornady 4DOF ballistics app with the group analysis function, and we'll share the results here in just a second. All right, welcome back. This didn't go exactly as I was expecting. I thought the results would have been better. We're shooting a 75 grain ELD match bullet, and we're shooting IMR 3031 powder and N540. I was kind of excited to get these 75 grain ELD match bullets because in my Ruger American, I was not able to shoot these because you're limited by the magazine length of 2.26 inches. These have to be loaded at 2.39 inches. So with the longer bullet, they can't make them any bigger around, so they have to make them longer. I would have expected the ballistics to be a little bit better. And so we're going to have to do some more experimenting with this load. A previous load of 21 grains of IMR 3031 powder proved to be very good with a 75 grain boat tail hollow point or a 73 grain ELD match, which I was able to shoot in the Ruger American. And the load data in the Hornady manual is the same for the 73 and the 75 grain bullets. So I thought that would be a good load for the 75 grain ELD match, but it was not. And I also loaded 23.5 grains of VihtaVuori N540 powder because that, based on the data published in the Hornady manual, would produce 2,575 feet per second in velocity. I don't have a chronograph, so all of my velocities are based on the data shown in the reloading manuals. So I thought that it would have performed better. I've heard good things about this powder, but here are my results, and I'll show you a photograph of the actual target right here on the screen, and I'll show you a screenshot from the Hornady ballistics app and the group analysis up here in the upper right hand corner. On the fouling group, we had a 0.96 inch group, and it shot pretty much on center, so I saw no need to adjust that. It shot 1.31 inches high and a 1/4 inch to the right. We had a mean radius of 0.39. Now that's only 5 shots, and these are 20 shot groups. So anytime you increase the number of shots, you can expect that group size to open up somewhat. I didn't expect it to open up this much. On the IMR 3031 with the 75 grain ELD match, it was shooting 1.57 high and 0.31 to the right. We had a 2.66 extreme spread here and a mean radius of 0.52. And one of the things that I always say is that a radius is half of a circle. And so if you double that, that would give you an average group size of 104. So something just over an inch might be okay for hunting, but not okay for precision rifle shooting. Then if you move on to the N540, it's 23.5 grains. We were shooting about the same height at 1.3 inches and 0.38 inches to the right. We had an extreme spread of 2.5 inches, 2.52, but we had a mean radius of 0.79 inches. If you double that, that's a 1.58 average group size. Not acceptable at all. So we've got to experiment some and find out if there's another charge weight that's going to work with that bullet for that powder. All right, so those are my results. So if you have any thoughts, ideas, suggestions, or comments, please leave those below. I try to interact with everybody that leaves a comment. I hope you'll also like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.